Hi everyone, welcome to Folk Fest. Um, so Folk Fest is hosted by TCFI and is part of the Leonard Bernstein Festival for the Creative Arts at Brandeis University.
Tonight we are so excited to introduce Hayley Reardon. Hayley Reardon is a Massachusetts-based singer-songwriter with an innate gift for capturing the essence of people and personal history through song. Her raw artistry boasts a lyrical and melodic weight far beyond her years, and her music has been described as brilliantly moving folk pop with a lyrical depth and soul by Performer magazine. I can just say that her music is so beautiful, even just listening on Spotify, but even just now in the sound check, just hearing a few little bits of verses and choruses, her voice just really tugs at your heartstrings. So I hope you all enjoy.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much. So good to be here. This song is called Everything Else. I was just a kid back then, but I didn't fall in love like one. I was just the morning's friend, trying to make a way for the sun. I was just a flower child, digging in the dirt all day, hoping that I just might grow, growing up to be okay. Over, under, breathe in thunder. I am not myself. I won't forget me like I forget everything. Now it's the way it goes. Every time you hold my hand, I could feel the burning stars just above a breaking man. Oh, when you're breaking heart, it's hard to make a clear-cut blame. 'Cause don't you know the broken break and the breakers stay the same. Over, under, breathe in thunder. I am not myself. I won't forget me like I forget everything. Now my say, if not my say, now my say, over, under, breathe in thunder. I am not myself. Run for cover, hold each other. No one's getting out. I won't forget me like I forget. 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 Okay. Thank you guys for having me. Right before this, I'm I'm calling in for you here from Marblehead, not far, just north of Boston, and I'm in my parents' house where I've been parked through COVID because my plans got derailed in my older sister's bedroom, which is essentially now a guest room. I've made this little corner for myself to do these little virtual shows. It's so good to get to play for people, even if I can't see you. And yeah, so happy this festival exists. This is a newer song that is the title track of an EP I have coming out in June. I just put out a single from it, the last single from it, last Friday. And the song is called After You, but there's a line in it that says, "I'm grieving 100 little lives for every season." And I wrote that long before 2020, but that has a much more literal and resonant meaning for me now. But the EP is the title's pulled from that line. The EP is called 100 Little Lives. And yeah, this is the song. It's called After You. I dreamed that you were blind and I went walking, looking for the light, but then I lost it, trying to bring the right thing home to you. And I see now that nothing is a waste until it runs out. I built myself a castle just to climb down and rifle through the fragments of my youth. And I've got everything I've ever felt lined up in pretty little bottles, one way in and one way out. My love, it's gonna be a while till I know who I am again. After you, after you. So I wake here, floating on a cloud above the last year. And I can see the moon now as the fog clears. The stars were burning, we just looked away. And I'm grieving 100 little lives for every season. You have parts of me that I don't need, and though I tried, I could not fight the change. And I've got everything I've ever felt lined up in pretty little bottles, one way in and one way out. My love, it's gonna be a while till I know who I am again. Oh, and nothing much has changed except some blinding revelations. I am holding out my hands. A fickle heart requires patience, I know. And I'm on my way again. After you, after you. Excuse my Christmas mug in April. This song is. Let me know if there's any sound issues, ladies. If I I don't hear from you, I'll assume everything sounds good. This is a tune that I wrote a while back. This is on a record of mine called Good that came out, maybe like 5 years ago now. But yeah, the song is called Would You Wait? I decided I don't need to be different, I just need to be okay. I could tell you everywhere I'm running as I sit here in my place. And I could come along fine, given that you're lenient when I change my mind. Oh, and it's the time, only the time that I'm not counting that counts as mine. Ooh, and would you wait for me? Would you wait? 'Cause I'm gonna be everything I never seem to find the time to be. If you wait, I'm begging, trying to tell you that my head is like a city someday. And only when we're laying in our whispers do I start to hear the street noise fade. And I could come along fine, given that you're lenient when I change my mind. Oh, and it's the time, only the time that I'm not counting that counts is mine. Ooh, and would you wait? Would you wait for me? Would you wait? Gonna be everything I never seem to find the time to be. If you wait. Honey, I'm so worn down. Not my first time coming back around. I guess I know how. Would you wait? Would you wait for me? Would you wait? 'Cause I'm gonna be everything I never seem to find the time to be. If you wait, and if you wait, will you wait for me? Would you wait for me? 'Cause I know my mind, it's all in time. Got somebody I'm said to be. Would you wait? Honey, will you wait? Honey, will you wait for me? Honey, would you wait? Honey, would you wait for me? Okay, like a true folk singer, I love to tell I love to tell stories. So hopefully I don't bore you with my babbling when it's virtual like this. But when I was about 10 years old, I discovered the magic of the answering machine. Back when my family still had a landline. I feel like I was right on the cusp of the landline generation. So I had a little taste of that home phone life. And I realized one day that you could actually set that message so people hear when they call to leave you a message, the answering machine. And I became obsessed with it. I decided that I should create a weekly questionnaire for anyone who happened to call our family home phone. So I would change it once a week, and I would say, "Hello, you've reached the Reardon family. Please leave a message and include your favorite color. "Hello, you've reached the Reardon family. Please leave a message and include your favorite singer." And it went on and on for weeks. My poor mom had to warn all her friends that Hayley had a new project. One of many, I can assure you. Weird, quirky little activities I made for myself. But one week, my grandmother called, and she left her message. And at the end, she said, "Oh, and Patsy Cline." Because the question was, who's your favorite singer? And my grandmother loved Patsy Cline. And I'd never heard of Patsy Cline at the time, but I remember going over to my grandmother's house. She lived right next door, right out that window. And she pulled out her records, and she played me a Patsy Cline song called "I Fall to Pieces." And she told me about how when she was a teenager, she would get all dolled up for the local town dances. And she'd make sure and get there 20 minutes early and be alone with the DJ in a big empty ballroom just so that she could request that song. So she could dance with a boy to a slow song in her best dress. And I never forgot that story or that image of my grandmother. And then years went by, and about 3 summers ago now, I ended up helping to take care of her when she had really bad dementia. I no longer had any idea what planet she was on or who any of us were. And I tried everything, and the only thing that would bring her back to the moment was when I put on Patsy Cline. She would say, "That voice, I know that voice." And for a second, she was with us again. So I wrote this song about those very, very long summer days I spent trying to remind my grandmother of her own life. And it's called 200 Years Old. There's a painting I almost bought you on the island that I ran away to. It was a lady in simple cotton, and her eyes looked like mine, 10 years forgotten. And I said, "Don't I know how it hurts to feel 200 years old?" And when my grandma lost her mind, will you put her in the car? And I put on Patsy Cline, and we drove like we were happy, like we couldn't feel a thing, like I wouldn't die to hear her sing. And don't I know how it hurts to feel 200 years old, how a life can get hot and burn to be told, how it hurts to be held and it's worse just to hold, how it hurts to feel 200 years old, how it hurts, how it hurts, how it hurts. And don't I know.
Nicole, are you saying same that you were the last generation of the answering machines, or same that you made up like answering machine answering machine questionnaires for your callers? Because we are kindred spirits if it's the second one. Oh my god, here I am spilling water everywhere. Okay. I'm gonna play a new song for you guys. I mean, kind of new. Thank you.
This is it's called Bleed Together. I keep thinking about, I keep telling myself to put it all in a song. It's a lot cleaner than calling. And I'm still telling myself that I can't get it wrong. It's all just us spinning and falling. And I used to pray to your dad. I don't think I ever told you that. And when we slept beside each other, our dreams would bleed together. And I've been thinking about everything I shoved down, everything that I left unspoken. But I guess you figured it out, 'cause I left it to you to decipher what I couldn't bear to. And I used to pray to your dad. I don't think I ever told you that. And when we slept beside each other, our dreams would bleed together. Is there a little room inside of you where I will always be? A window looking out on everything, a nosebleed seat. And I don't need to fill a stadium, just a single chair to know that everything that burns in me will burn in you somewhere. And I used to pray to your dad. I don't think I ever told you that. And when we slept beside each other, our dreams would bleed together. Oh, our dreams would bleed together. Our dreams would bleed together. All right. This is another newer song. I was, of course, writing through the past, year and however many months, even though I couldn't play. So I have a lot of backlogged new songs. So I appreciate the chance to get to test some of them out on you. So this is another one of those new ones. I'm just diving into recording my next project now, so I'm feeling out what's gonna be on it. This is called Something's Gonna Hurt. Actually, that's a tentative title, so if you can think of a better one, put it in the chat. I played all my games in the dark, my head on fire, speeding car, till I found someone too in love to tell. And we poured chlorine in the wishing well. And now I'm looking out as the evidence washes ashore. The only thing I hear is the dissonance of an abandoned world. And something's gonna hurt now, and something's gonna hurt later. I did us a favor of my mouth. All that's left is space, and I won't give it away. In the strangeness of a different town, well, it took all of me to turn around, and suddenly I'm desperate to preserve some sacred thing that lives beyond the words. Now I'm holding hands with the cavalry that ravaged my brain, to think I was immune to the mysteries of spinning in space. And something's gonna hurt now, and something's gonna hurt later. I did us a favor. It's finally out of my mouth. All that's left is space, and I won't give it away. I'm gonna switch guitars for a second. Excuse me banging things around. Tight quarters in here. This is another one of those story songs. I put out an EP in 2019. My last full release was this project that was kind of a concept project. It's a collection of story songs, of songs that were inspired by other people's stories, people in my life, that I felt a privilege to get to share and sort of a responsibility to share as well. So the project is just that. It's all other people's stories, and this is one of those songs. This is inspired by my mom's best friend. Her name is Beth, and she is the realest and truest hippie I think I have ever known. And she's been telling me stories my whole life about her younger, wilder days living out of a school bus in Santa Barbara in the 70s. And all these very sort of romantic, picturesque images that I've always thought belonged in a book or a movie or something, a song. And when I learned to play the guitar, she loves Joni Mitchell, of course, like every good hippie. And myself, I love Joni Mitchell. But as soon as I learned to play the guitar, Beth started asking me to play her this Joni Mitchell song called Blonde in the Bleachers off her album For the Roses. And Beth herself is this little tiny blonde lady. She's my height. You can't tell, but I'm very short. Me and Beth both are 5 foot flat, and she still has this long blonde hair. And so whenever I think of the Blonde in the Bleachers, I think of Beth. To me, that song is like her little hippie anthem. She is the Blonde in the Bleachers to me. And I never learned that song for her, but instead I ended up writing my own song, kind of stringing together some of the stories Beth had shared with me over the years. And so this is my little tribute to her. It's called Bethany. Bethany is 5 foot, with hair down to her knees, and she carries plays the guitar of a boy she loves but never sees, and she'll follow him to Santa Barbara when she is just 19, with some money from her father, a man she loves but never sees. She is lost in the records, blind in the bleachers. She's free, but she's tired already. So she lived out of a school bus parked in some old lady's yard, and to this day she'll thank the 70s and the California stars. But at night she still got lonely, and the boy with the guitar couldn't give a damn about it, but she still held him in her heart. She is lost in the records, blind in the bleachers. She's free, but freedom never comes easy. Love, it never comes freely. Just ask Bethany. And the boy with the guitar became a man with a full band, and he left her with a baby, chose the road over her family. So Bethany, she left there for a farm out in the country, raised the little girl up wild with the horses and the daisies. She is lost in the records, blind in the bleachers. She's free, but freedom never comes easy. Love, it never comes freely. Just ask Bethany. Okay. Also presumptuous to say thank you with no clapping. Excuse me for that. Okay, I'm gonna do another new song, take advantage of the opportunity to play these new song babies of mine. This song, I am so excited. I connected with some amazing collaborators in Barcelona during quarantine, and remotely recorded a version of this song that I love so much. It has this amazing Spanish guitar on it. It's got like a little bit of Spanish flair, but still feels like me. And I'm gonna hopefully go keep recording with those people for my next project. But this is a new song born out of the intensity of the past year. It's called Alive. You said take it, it's yours, like there is such a thing, like the world doesn't hang from an ownerless string. So I open my hands and I give it all back again. And dare I ask, if falling in love is a thing of the past, the higher the stakes, the sweeter the task. And here in the night, just one single song will put a burden to flight. There is nothing left to be but alive. little town, the shadows they move through each little house, how simple it must seem from above looking down. And there I am, falling in love is a thing of the past. The higher the stakes, the sweeter the task, 'cause here in the night, just one single song will put a burden to flight. There is nothing left to be but alive. So there's a newbie for you. I'm going to play a couple more songs. Thank you so much to the Too Cheap for Instruments crowd, the Brandeis crowd. Thank you, Nicole and Adina. We didn't talk about that. I meant to ask you how to say it. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Adina, okay. And Kulla, I heard Kulla heard my music in an Uber and invited me here. So thank you so much. The universe works in mysterious ways. Word of mouth is what it's all about for folk singers like me. So that's awesome, and I'm so happy to be here. Follow me on Instagram or Spotify or whatever. I'm putting out new music as we speak, so I would love for you to keep listening if you like it, if you wanna. I'm gonna do my own version of America the Beautiful, the patriotic song, when I was in like elementary school. I used to go to my grandparents' house every day after school. They were my after-school program, which worked out well for my parents because it was free. And my grandfather really did treat it as such, like a program. It was very structured, and he was a firefighter and a real patriot and loved to sing. And so for whatever reason, he thought that an appropriate use of our time together would be to learn all of the American patriotic songs front to back, all the verses, even the verses no one's ever heard of. And so that's what we would do together, is I would come home from school and I would take off my backpack and he would say, Grand Old Flag from the Top, or America the Beautiful, or National Anthem, and we would just sing through these songs together. It's like my earliest memories of singing. So to this day, they come to me at random times and remind me of him. And back in 2017, I was living in Nashville, and one day, America the Beautiful, the song popped into my head and just hit me with this weight. I've obviously heard that song a million times, but suddenly the lyrics felt so poignant and timely and important. Even just that line, America the Beautiful, affected me so much. And remember, this is 2017, so times were not quite as weird as they have been recently, but they were still weird. So this is kind of what transpired. I picked up my guitar and kind of was trying to suss out how to play the song, and just sort of instinctively started interjecting my own lyrics. So this is my updated version of America the Beautiful. Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for country stores and dive bars, where everybody knows your name, for purple mountains, majesty or the woman reading to a child on a crowded city subway. For the black lives that matter more than they'll ever know, and for the grown man who's crying, where did my life go? Oh, America the beautiful, America the heartbreak, America the prideful, still yearning despite her mistakes. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, 'cause it should be enough to tell the truth. Kiss your kids goodnight. Oh, America the beautiful, America the hungry, America the city kids and the immigrants and the hurt and the lost and the grace on thee, and crowned by good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Alrighty, I'm gonna play one more song, and I think we're gonna do a Q&A after. Thank you so very much for being on this page of the interweb when there are literally an infinite amount of other places you could be. And I hope that we meet in person someday for a real live concert. I'm going to end on a song of mine called Good. There's a line in East of Eden by John Steinbeck that says, "Now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good." And I had that in mind when I wrote this song. So that's your final season reminder that you don't have to be perfect to be good. All right. Thank you so much for listening. You drive all the way 'cause you want to, not 'cause the drive don't bother you. I just said thank you. And I watch you fold your neighbor's laundry like you showed it yourself. And maybe I'll wonder why you want me when I'm still in my shell. But people do crazy things, try everything to be who they think they should, but you do it 'cause you're good, good, good. Because you're good, good, good. And for everyone you meet, you've got a question, and you remember what everyone says. I remember driving in Westland, you were holding my hand to your head. People do crazy things just to be who they think they should, but you do it 'cause you're good, good, good. 'Cause you're good, good, good. Even when you taste like you've been smoking something, when you're hard to get a hold of, quick to say you might love, even if you don't love me, I know you're good. I know you're good, good, good. 'Cause people do crazy things, try everything to be who they think they should, but you do it 'cause you're good, good, good. 'Cause you're good, good, good. Good, good, good. You are. Thank you.
Yay! That was so beautiful. I was clapping in my room, even though you could not hear me after every song. I'm just absolutely blown away. Nicole and I were sharing that we were both extremely emotional during that song about your grandmother, because we both have family members who are going through similar things, and that's just the touch of like shows when you write a song that is able to touch people in such a deep way. It just shows your artistry, and just thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I'm so happy that the music reached you, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm just going to check if we have any questions. I have a question. You mentioned that your life plans have been somewhat derailed with COVID, and I'm wondering if that's affected your songwriting, being back home and all the changes that have gone on this past year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some songs that I wrote that I probably wouldn't have written if it weren't for my plans being derailed, up for, the global events happening, national events happening. But so there are some songs that I got out of this time, but there's also a sense of like my whole creative process is very much built around go out and live and then come home and write, like that I have to have experiences in order to write. So obviously we all had a very big experience, but it's just a lot of it was more of an internal experience. Like we're all in our houses, but there's a lot going on. So it challenged me as a writer a bit, because the easy bait of like, oh, I went to this place and this happened to me, or when I'm touring and I'm meeting so many people and there's a lot of ideas being generated. So I think this put a lot of, it just put more pressure on, writing, finding things to write about, because my life got smaller in a way. But it was interesting. It still is interesting. I'm back home. My sister's here. Like, this moment will never happen again, where my whole family and I are in the house together. Like, it's like a childhood reprise. So there's been a lot of beautiful gifts about it, and I've tried to sort of channel those into my writing, or at least kind of be reflective about that. So, yeah.
I also had a question. I was wondering what first inspired you to start writing music, and really telling these stories through song?
Well, we always had a guitar in the house. My uncle is a guitar player, and he would come over and play it, and it was my mom's from when she was young. And I remember watching the Our Song Taylor Swift music video, and I was like, oh, look at her. You remember with the flowers? That was, yeah, I knew you girls would get it. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was summertime, and it was, I think I was about to go into 6th grade. And I was like, I'm going to try and learn that guitar because it was just sitting there. And so I started learning a few chords, and then the writing thing was just like, that's what I was excited about. That's kind of where my brain immediately went. And I'd always written poems before that, and little stories and letters, and I loved to write. So the minute I had some sort of like musical foundation, that's just exactly where I went. It wasn't necessarily like a certain artist or a certain song or whatever. It was kind of a blending of, I was like, oh, I can put words and music together, and I love to sing and I love to write. So boom. But yeah.
I love that. Kind of like the second you knew that there was music and it could be made, you made it. And that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
We have a question here from Jenny. And she asks, do you have any idea when you will be performing live again?
Any idea? Hopefully very soon. I was meant to be, I was supposed to be doing this artist residency where I was going to be living in Germany and touring in Europe. And I was still hoping to salvage that and maybe play like some festivals in the late summer or early fall. But that's now been postponed. So it's kind of going to be what comes up. I'm kind of in the same boat as everyone. Like, I can take shows when they start happening, but I don't have anything on the books. But I feel like it's coming around the bend, right, with vaccinations and everything. So hopefully by fall, I'll be playing again. Yeah, hopefully I'll have a New England show, like in Boston or something by then. So, yeah.
I'd love to come and hear you play live when you're able to again.
Yes, I would love that. Yes, please. Okay, well, if you want, on my website, I mean, I can keep you guys in the loop, but I have your emails. But on my website, there's a place to sign up for my email list, and I always send when I'm, my tour schedule and when I'm going to be in the area. And obviously, I post on Instagram and stuff too. So, would love to see anybody who wants to catch a show. Live music will return someday. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going to sign up for that email list. And we'll try to keep you, I mean, I'm graduating, but in general, we'll try to keep you in mind next year for Folk Fest.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Yes.
Live again. I think that might be it for the questions that people have sent in. Unless Nicole has any more questions, then I'll just wrap.
I'm sure I have a lot of questions. I just can't think of them right now because it's in the moment.
I know.
Totally fair. Yeah, thank you so much, Hayley, for doing this. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in. This is, every week we've brought in a different artist, and tomorrow night we will be doing a TCFI Originals Night, where myself, Lizzie, Sarah, and Grace will be performing some original music at 7:30, and we hope you will all tune in. And that, yeah, Folk Fest has been incredible. I've been able to see that there are people who are tuning in every single night, and that's awesome. So thank you all for coming in. Thank you to Hayley for doing this. And it is currently the Leonard Bernstein Festival of the Arts. This is part of the Festival of the Arts, and there are so many amazing things on campus to check out. So just head to the Brandeis Leonard Bernstein Festival of the Arts page. Look at what's going on. The arts of all varieties are happening, both virtually and in person. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great night.
Thank you so much.